What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed, born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video guys, I have basically two main topics. One of them is the share price of the next bridge hydrocarbon shares according to their most recent S1 statement, and what does it mean for you as shareholders and how you can benefit out of this. On top of that, I will show you some interesting update from Orogrande in regards to FINRA's action or potential inactions. And I will show you what should they do and how we can use this information in our case. And at the end of this video, I will share my personal story. That is why, guys, please watch this video till the very end, because it is very important for me personally. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section for whatever reasons you want. And let's start with this information. And I made these calculations basically yesterday. I explained it in details, and I have to admit that I received a lot of questions in regards to the share price and how it can affect our case and how it can affect each and every MMTLP shareholder. So guys, I have to admit that 40 million shares, 40 million additional shares is about 13.7% dilution out of 291 million shares in total, and we can find this information on their S1 statement. As you can see, number of shares outstanding after the offering, if all the shares are sold, is 291.93 million shares. And I have to say that on the one hand, yes, it is a 100% delusional process. This means each and every MMTLP share will hold about 13.7% less value of next bridge hydrocarbons if all these 40 million shares is sold. On top of that, guys, I have to say that the flip side of this coin is following. The price, the share price of next bridge hydrocarbon shares. And in my opinion, the threshold, very important threshold, is $2.895 per share. It is the last price that was established back in December of 2022, right before the U3 halt. And guys, if the price is below $2.895, this means we don't have a lot of buyers. And by the way, guys, take a look right here. And as you can see, the price for now is unidentified, and we don't know basically the price, but it will be set up by the company itself. And this is the crucial point. If the price is below $2.9, this means we potentially don't have a lot of buyers for next bridge hydrocarbon shares. And I have to say that potentially, if naked shorters will be forced to close their short position, and we know that no one can hold the short position on a private company, that is why at least the company who operate on the US territory should be forced to buy back these shares. And depending on the number of the shares, we might anticipate quite substantial demand on the shares. On top of that, guys, we know that a lot of shorters transferred their short position abroad in order to hide them from FINRA and SEC. And this is quite tricky part, because it is very difficult to force them to transfer these shares back and to cover their short positions. But definitely it can be done within a blink of an eye. SEC and FINRA just have to make an order to transfer back all the shares to the US territory of the US based companies. And if it happens, and I have to say that the chances are pretty slim on these actions, if this happens, definitely we will have much more demand on these shares to close the short positions. Guys, on top of that, the third part of this entire stock offering is following. Think of it like this. If some company on the US territory thinks that next bridge hydrocarbons is quite a promising company, and their Orogrande prospect might be very promising in terms of oil and gas assets. They might also purchase some of these shares, and in this case we will have not only the shorters who will be forced to close their position, but we will have another additional so-called players on this field who potentially might buy these shares. On top of that, guys, I have to say that this price by itself means nothing for you, because you will not be able to sell any of your shares at this price, basically at this very moment, because these shares are not tradable, and all the proceeds, according to their S1 statements, will be spent to fund their drilling and exploration activities and for general corporate purposes. This means you will not be able to sell any of your shares, but this price will give you a chance. And guys, nothing is guaranteed, definitely nothing is guaranteed, but this price will give you a chance to sell your shares and to settle the deal on broker by broker basis. If you find any person or company who want to buy your shares, you can do it by share transferring in between two accounts directly without any settlements. I have to say that potentially it might work, but as of now I don't think that it is possible, because no one knows the real price. But when the price is identified, in this case you potentially might have this opportunity. On top of that, guys, and it is the most crucial point, you can see that depending on the price, NextBridge hydrocarbons might have up to quite substantial numbers, quite substantial amount of money. If the price for this offering is $1 per share, they will have up to $40 million, and in my opinion it will be more than enough to operate for at least 2 years. At $2.9 they will have more than $115 million, and at $5 they might have up to $200 million. This means, guys, this 13.7% dilution, if these proceeds will be spent according to their S1 filing, this means the intrinsic value of NextBridge hydrocarbons might be much higher than the current value, and this means this dilution of 13.7% might be covered by the additional cost, additional value that will be added right after the deal happens. So guys, and definitely if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section, or you can ask me in DMs via X. But let's go forward. And let me show you this tweet that was written by RareDD, and it is quite interesting and, in my opinion, very important news. So he wrote, the SEC has made it clear that they are only interested in pursuing cases against retail investors and the former CEOs in relation to TRCH, MMTLP, and MMAT. Case 1 was against the retail trading group Atlas for allegedly pumping TRCH pre-reverse merger. According to the SEC, months before the merger, the Atlas Group members were buying hundreds of thousands of shares, hyping the Torchlight Meta merger, a potential partnership with Tesla, and applications for fighting that C-19 infection that was going around. They even had the help of a podcast that I imagine had reach. All of this allegedly occurred by the criminal, but the criminal aspect of this case has been dismissed. The SEC was found to have engaged in impropriety. Case number 2 is against Palikars and John Burda for allegedly devising a scheme to punish short sellers and devising a scheme to profit from the merger. Serious question though. Why is it so much to ask that FINRA and or SEC just provide a share count to either prove or disprove manipulation? And guys, this is a very simple but important question. TD Ameritrade places GTS Securities and Concord Genuity at the scene of the earliest MMTLP trades, and both of these firms have a history of manipulation, including improperly listing securities. Isn't this enough to justify an investigation into their alleged involvement? Why are they being shielded from scrutiny? How can the regulators claim to prioritize protecting investors? but fail to properly investigate what has clearly gone wrong. Is the SEC protecting FINRA by not properly investigating, because it will ultimately come back to what the SEC knew? And guys, he added these screenshots, and I have to say that these screenshots basically prove his words. As you can see, GTS Securities had back in December of 2019 about $615 million in value in securities sold but not yet purchased. And a year later, in December 31st of 2020, they had $7.112 billion in securities sold but not yet purchased. And guys, this means they drastically increased these positions in this so-called securities sold and not yet purchased. But in my opinion, it is a rabbit hole of the infinite fail to deliver of these stocks. And in my opinion, these stocks might also be transferred abroad in order to hide these positions from regulators, from FINRA and SEC. So I have to say that it is quite important to know the real share count, not the number of shares that were issued. Wait a second, somewhere here, that were issued by NextBridge Hydrocarbons. Here it is. For now, we have 251.93 million shares. And right after all the shares of this 40 million offering will be sold, we will have about 291.93 million shares. And definitely this number of shares is just number of shares outstanding. But we don't know any positions, short or long positions, from the market, basically from the end of December of 2022 till present day. We don't know any numbers of the position in NextBridge Hydrocarbons. On top of that, guys, take a look right here. RareDD also published this, and Scott Roth, the person who filed a RICO lawsuit, reposted it. And RareDD wrote, "Hey FINRA, are your FAQs for MMTLP backed by a penalty of perjury? Of course not. So isn't it strange that your lawyers have cited your FAQs in almost every MMTLP related lawsuit? Is Charles Schwab also citing these FAQs in their case with Scott Roth? And I have to say that if they don't have any penalties of perjury on their FAQs, why in the world you think that this information is 100% correct? In my opinion, they can write there basically any possible information that will be useful for them, not for retail investors. And we have a lot of evidence that potentially it might happen. But definitely everything should be proven by the judge's decision. And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and 2 children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm